The highs and lows of Sorare are like no other fantasy football game. This is My Sorare Journey, episode 72, and today I want to discuss how to deal with more of the negative emotions when it comes to Sorare. Because to be honest, I might be in a bit of a slump myself. Now I don't want to be all soppy and emotional, I want to provide genuine advice to people that are just having a tough time on the game. But it goes without saying, if this game is ruining your emotions or making your life worse in any way, just sell parts of your gallery or sell your entire gallery. It's a game at the end of the day, it's meant to be fun. If you're not having fun, get rid of it and do something else with the money. Now what that doesn't mean is that you can't be angry at a red card or a sending off or a missed penalty. These times will happen, but we're trying to deal with, well, how do we overcome that? How do we get better at the game? And in order to do that, I want to start with a quote that I think is particularly apt to Sorare. It's comparison is the thief of joy. And why it's so relevant to Sorare is because everything on Sorare is so visible. You can see everyone else smashing their scores out. You see how great their rewards are. That's one of the key elements of a blockchain, that it's all open source. Everyone can see what you're doing. But the underrated downside is that you can see what everyone's doing and it can play with your emotions because you're not playing as well as them. But that might not even be true itself because there's so much luck that's involved in this game. And even worse than that, when you're checking Twitter and comparing to how people do, all you're seeing is a combination of highlights of different Sorare managers. If you think about it, about 10% of people can win on Sorare. In terms of winning then, each game week, less than 2% of those rewards are actually decent enough to share on Twitter. So you're probably seeing the 2%. And yes, there'll be a couple of combinations where you see someone get unlucky with a red card or you see a really bad team. But usually what's shared, what's liked, is all of the highlights because people want to see the highlights. They want to see people get rewards. They usually try and push people up and celebrate their wins. And those managers that you do see consistently do well and do consistently get rewards, they usually have galleries the size of houses, a value like £500,000 or £100,000. Comparing to them is just absolutely irrelevant because you're on completely different financial planes. You don't compare your dinner with someone that's having dinner at the Ritz because you're not watching them eat the dinner. But on Sorare and on Sorare Twitter, you do see it. So my first tip is to let the highlights go over your head. Enjoy them, celebrate them, but don't get down because it's not your highlight. And comparisons can be helpful, but most of the time, they're not going to be helpful to you. Because even if you have similar financial constraints, you might not have similar time commitments. Or even if you do have similar time commitments, maybe you're looking to compete in the short-term period and they're looking to compete in the long-term period. So yes, you can look at how other people do, but let the highlights go over your head and just kind of scrap the comparison. In order to understand the next tip, we need to look at My Sorare Journey and what's been going on and why I feel like I'm in a slump. So recently, I've just been acquiring all of the RB Leipzig cards. I reckon I've put close to $4,000 in to these brand new cards at the start of the season. Paid a pretty penny, really happy with my collection, really happy with the team I've selected, and I've still won nothing. This week, great fixture, 250 points with a player to play. He could get 100 points, still not getting a reward. International week, not many people have pro lineups out. I got one out, 30 points short of a reward, despite everyone doing reasonably good. In this particular game week, I called it my most important game week because all of my cards had great fixtures. They're all playing close to bottom of the league. And I came out with 340 points, essentially. 79 points away from a tier 3. I had 2 penalties missed in the Leipzig game from my players. This was my reaction. I cannot fucking believe it. Not only is there another fucking penalty, which my player wins Poulsen, my other player, Forsberg, takes it, and it's fucking saved again. And there's just so many more examples of getting close but not good enough. 350 points, 73 points away, not even close. Everyone in the division seemed to have scored loads of points that week. And then you look at your gallery valuation, and you see Xavi Simons at £475. When you traded him for a value of about £800 or £850. Openda picked him up for £508, he's currently at £382, but his scores have been reasonably good. So I'm watching my teams be not good enough. I'm watching the gallery value of the players I've bought continue to dip. So who's to blame? If I bought the players, I pick who goes in the lineups, I pick which division to play, clearly my fault. Maybe it's Sorare's fault because they're minting too many cards and my gallery's going down in value. Well, realistically, it's probably neither of those factors. I know I was buying the very early mints. So there's still 90% of the supply to come, so it's natural that they're going to go down in value. These players I expected to hold for the next 3 or 4 years, so the fact they haven't done well in the first 8, 9, 10 game weeks, who cares? But those facts are the ones that are the hardest to get when you're missing penalties, when you're getting sent off, when you're picking players that you think are going to play and then get a random DMP. It really does challenge you mentally and make you think you're at fault. But in every lineup I've showed, I'd been playing in the Rare Pro division. So he's looking at the stats for this week, right? There's 750 people playing in the Rare Pro lineup in Champion Europe, one of the most competitive divisions there are. Of winning that, 50 people are going to get rewards. Now, of course, this is a Rare Pro division, or now it's called Rare Plus division. You're going to get a decent reward, a minimum tier 3. I'm doing that on purpose because I don't care for the tier 4s and tier 5s. That's the strategy, right? That's a 6.5% chance of winning. So in order of general fair probability, I would need to play these cards 15 times before I get a reward. 15 different game weeks before I get a reward. And I haven't got to 15 game weeks. So my second tip is, are you actually in a slump? Or are you just performing absolutely normally? Because I'm looking at these lineups like, I'm wasting money away. I'm not even close to getting rewards. But realistically, in order to fit the fair probability, I just need to hit 1 in 15 game weeks, and I haven't even played with them for 15 game weeks. Then you've got to take into effect things like, okay, well, your top players might not be playing well, but how about, your threshold grinders? It's like, well, I've picked up a couple of thresholds in the last couple of game weeks, so realistically, I'm not in a slump at all. It's just completely normal, so rare economics that are going on, and I'm blaming myself and putting myself down as, an awful manager, or can't get any decisions right, or so unlucky that they all miss those penalties, and it's like, it doesn't matter. It's standard probability, but because you don't really look at it in that sense, you just line up your teams every week and hope they perform well. It's tough to realise it sometimes. So yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is, are you actually enjoying the game? Because recently, I've been struggling with this question myself. For the first time in my life, I've not really had that burning passion to go out and play Sorare or go out and make Sorare content. You would have seen on the channel that I've been promoting this Pookie football predictions game. And to be honest, I've been putting more hours into this game, even though I have 1/10 of the value of my Sorare gallery in it. You just predict the results of football games, and then the higher you do, the more you'll win. If you want to sign up, there's a link in the description, that'll help me, but it's not the point of it. The point is, if you're losing passion for something, A, you're not going to be doing as well in it, and B, I think it's completely normal. The Pookie game is something new to me. I haven't ever really tried to predict football games, so it's a new learning curve. Whereas I've been playing Sorare for, 2.5 years, I've just done a huge transitioning my gallery for the next 3-4 years. So there's a little bit less to do. I don't really have any money where I can go out and buy players. I can't really go out and sell any players because all of the, high value players I've locked up for 3-4 years. So it's just setting lineups, which can have so many different, variable factors of just randomness, luck. It's just, you can have a lot of money involved in this game. You can enjoy it, but it doesn't have to be the core of your life. And yeah, that's something I'm struggling with myself, so any tips, let me know. But what I will say is that it's fine to play casually. It's cool to have a cooling off period. Like, just take it very easily. If you're not having fun with it, like I said, either, spend less time on it or take some money out of it. And then the final tip then would be, get to the core of the problem. If you're ignoring the Twitter highlights, if you are actually below average performance and you are enjoying it and have a real passion to do better and play well, find out what is going wrong. Do you need a change of strategy? Research videos on my channel and loads of other different Sorare managers on what is the optimal strategy. Where are these marginal gains that you can make? Look at your gallery and think, okay, well, of these players, have I got a focus on them? Am I understanding, a specific region? Like for myself, I focus on Champion Europe. For someone like Harry Trade, he focuses on under 23s. That stuff really benefits you. Then look at your gallery and think, okay, well, is there anything playing against me? In my own personal experience at the minute, I've got an injury crisis. Look how many players are injured. Now, that's going to have a decent effect on my lineups, even though it might not be prevalent when you're selecting them. It's just like, he's not selected. We'll pick someone else. But, Dybala's one of my best players. It is going to have an effect. One of my more broad tips to help people is, go right when other people are going left. Try and do the opposite of what the casual or standard player is doing. I was buying these Asia players when no one else was, and I've had great success with them and a load of fun with them. Wakazaka, right? I picked him up for £16. He then had this huge rise in value to £30, where people were buying him at the end of the season to try and get the hype for next season. But they were too late because the hype was building then. This is a hype. You should have been at the period like me where I picked him up for the same price he is now, and I've won a division with him, and I've had loads of different other utility with him. So it's like, if you're doing the same thing that everyone else does and buying brand new season cards and not rotating with the seasons, you probably are going to struggle on the game. And like I said before, try and have a focus. That's really key for a lot of people that aren't enjoying the game. They're playing too many different divisions where they can't watch the games they're playing. They can't learn the games they're playing. They don't see rotation patterns. So these random DMPs or random benchings, they're not so random for the people that are in the know. Like I said in one of my last videos, it's a bit like poker, this game, where people don't realize that they're making bad decisions because the people that are making the good decisions aren't going to be like, oh, by the way, that was quite an obvious rotation pattern, you probably should have spotted it. It's just no benefit to anyone. If you're not enjoying it, don't be afraid to sell some of your high value players and lock in losses. I see so many people that have gone out and bought this card and it's not working for them and they just stick with them. You know, my Kevin De Bruyne is a perfect example. He didn't do well for me. I got rid of him and I turned a loss into a win. I made some trades. I then built a gallery up that I enjoy, and now I'm in a fantastic position. If I'd hold on to that Kevin De Bruyne I bought a year ago and just gone, oh, well, I have to buy him now, I wouldn't be having half the fun I am. And then once I'm done with that, I can rotate a Kevin De Bruyne Limited in for a bit of fun. You know, don't be afraid to lock in losses. Don't be afraid to change strategies. And yeah, just maybe try and focus on a team that you enjoy. You know, me going out and watching RB Leipzig, it's fantastic. I know, like, every Saturday at 2 o'clock I've got something to do, and it's what I enjoy doing. So yeah, a load of different tips in this video. Of course, it's very specific to My Sorare Journey. That's why it's a My Sorare Journey episode. But I hope there's tips in here that can help you. If it was helpful, can you please drop a comment? Please drop a like. Besides that, I'm trying to have more fun on the game myself. I've done a nice squad builder showdown with Harry Trades here. I think you might enjoy it. And besides that, all the best to you. Cheers. Bye.